Welcome back. I'm glad that you guys are here. I'm excited to share a typical day in my life. I am a mama to 5 kids, and I try to do as much as I can from home when it comes to food and homemaking. It is ridiculously fun. I find food making and preparation very therapeutic, but also at the same time can be extremely overwhelming. So it's kind of a balance and a line that I ride, but 9 times out of 10, I love the time I get to spend in the kitchen, and I love that I get to share it with you guys. If you didn't see my last video, it was a pantry restock video. It's where I featured these like frozen ginger cubes. I had a heart-shaped mold, so they turned out super pretty, but these are great for making really strong tea. Sometimes I'll just take 1 cube and put it into a teapot and sip on that the rest of the day. Or I'll put it in a curry or a soup or a stew. They are nice to have on hand and very affordable and simple to make for anybody. And it's a great thing to have in the kitchen. I am, believe it or not, I am not a great baker. I prepped a carrot cake to sit in the fridge overnight. It's sourdough, so I wanted to do like an overnight fermentation in the fridge. It's delicious, 100%, but I guess it's just not easy for me. So when it comes to bread baking and making, I can look at the dough and think, oh, I know exactly what this needs. This needs more hydration. This needs more flour. I'm gonna put honey in here. It needs to be softened with olive oil. You know, like I can look at it and go, this is what it needs. But when I'm doing things like muffins or cakes or cookies, totally different story. I can look at the batter and go, I have no idea what to do. But I've been working on this carrot cake recipe and it is divine. But I did learn something in today's video that I will remember for next time, and I'll share that with you guys in a little bit here. Something I have been working on, as you all know, is my website. I have everything I need on my iPad when it comes to my recipes, what I have to shoot, what I've already taken pictures of, what I need to edit. I'm looking over my website as well and tweaking things with my amazing website team. They've been so gracious and helpful with me. I am someone that's very new to all this, and they have been very kind to new to website Sarah. I previously had a website, but it was very much a DIY one, and I want something more professional and serious and easier for you guys to look at my recipes, print them out, and have more information there. It's just more efficient and beautiful. I am thawing some bone broth I made last week. Tonight, I will do a ham soup with cashew cream and veggies because it's delicious and very, very simple. I'm getting another loaf of bread going. I had this fermenting overnight. I've had some people ask if I do 2 loaves at a time of a sandwich bread, and the honest truth is no. Even with our family of 7, it's me, my husband, and my 5 kids. I do like to do 1 sandwich loaf at a time. I don't think there has been many times I will do 2 at a time. I like having a fresh loaf. I like this to be almost part of my daily routine where I'm making a sandwich loaf every single day. And it's simple. It's simple to make. I use my bread machine, which really does take a lot of the kneading and hands-off work off of me. And there's something about fresh bread that's never touched the freezer. Of course, you can put bread in the freezer and it'll be fine, it'll thaw great, but I just love that fresh loaf of bread. So we usually go through about a loaf a day. Sometimes we'll push that and we'll do 1 loaf every 2 days, but I mean, if we're all eating 2 slices of bread in a day, the loaf is gone. And I would say we kind of easily do that. So I do have this recipe. I'll find the video, I have it, and link it down below. And while all this is happening, my kids are doing homeschool. A lot of their workbooks are just them independently going through it. If they need my help, I'm there. But today was very much centered around independent work for them, so I could get a bunch of stuff done. sponsoring this portion of today's video and fueling my kids' bodies with what they need. For children's vitamins in the past, I've gone to the grocery store and just picked up anything that looked good or had a cute character on it. What I didn't realize though, that these vitamins that I was getting at the store are filled with a bunch of junk. Artificial colors, flavors, tons of sugar, just a bunch of things that these kids do not need to have in a multivitamin. That's why I use Haya. It is a daily children's vitamin that has no gunk and is a cleaner and tastier option. P.S. There is 0 added sugar and it is made using organic fruits and vegetables, plus 15 essential vitamins and minerals. These are going to work in your children's bodies to help with their immunity, their brain function, mood, bones, teeth, and more. Did you also know that 93% of kids do not get enough fruits and vegetables, which is why I give my kids Haya. If there's any dietary gaps, these are gonna fill those, and that gives me a lot of confidence and even control as their parent. It's non-GMO, vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free, gelatin-free, nut-free. Maybe you're like me and you're a busy parent. Welcome to the club. I love that Haya makes it easy for my kids to get their daily vitamin because every single month they send me a refill. Your first order, you're gonna get your glass bottle with a vitamin pack. You're gonna pour it into here, and this is going to be your children's vitamin glass bottle. And then for every month following, you're going to get one of these sent right to your door, and then you're gonna pour the vitamins from here into your glass bottle to use again for the rest of the month. Haya is offering my viewers 50% off their first order. You can go to hayahealth.com/SarahTherese to get that 50% off, or just click the link in the description. I used to be that person that would push dishes to the end of the day. That was years ago, but I would just be like, you know what, I'm gonna do all the dishes at the very end of the day instead of doing them throughout the day. And then I felt overwhelmed and overstimulated by having a sink full of dishes throughout the day. So I did realize not too far into having kids that actually just getting those dishes done, taking those few minutes to get them done, and it really only does take a few minutes. For the longest time, I thought, oh, this is gonna take me an hour to do. No, it never did. It takes 5, sometimes 10 minutes to get all the dishes done, and then you can continue on through the day, and it just feels a little more clean and relaxed. And if you get overstimulated, I've noticed things like minimalism, also a sense of just finding peace and calm in your house, less clutter. I've noticed being more productive and on top of certain things that can trigger you to be overstimulated is also really great. And I also like having a project to tackle almost every single day. I don't know what this is, but if I get really overstimulated, it means I can't focus and I don't have a focus point. So doing things like a project can kind of recenter me. And of course, I love Jesus, so I pray a lot. I listen to worship music. That stuff is so great. But I also love the ability to give myself a project to focus in on and keep my mind busy with hopefully just one thing. This isn't easy, but it's awesome. So my project today is plants. Plants need to be watered, dusted, sometimes resoiled, sometimes propagated if they just need a new life. And I dust them. Some of these little plants can be really hard to dust, so I'll just take my water over them and just shower them and sprinkle them. If you ever feel like your plants are looking dull or they're dying, maybe just see if they actually need dusting. And if they're dusted, they can clean the air better and they look more vibrant and beautiful. I'm rearranging my plant shelf here. I also have other plants throughout the house that I added to this because I felt like, oh man, it's looking a little bit bare. I really like this plant shelf. It's pretty. It gives me a lot of joy. I do rearrange it from here to there, which is very fun. And it's a pretty focal point as well as something that isn't in the way. It's up and out of the way and really pretty. We have finished the carrot cake. My favorite thing about making cakes is peeling off that top kind of caramelized layer. I had to over bake this thing because I put it in I think this is a 10-inch, 9-inch springform pan. I should have done it in 2 batches, but I was impatient and also learned a lot from even just making a cake this time. This cake was so good though. It was gone within the day. Everyone was like, can you make this again? And I was like, yes. But it'll be much better next time, way more moist, and I won't have to cut off as much of the caramelized surface for us to enjoy a nice, moist, soft cake. people ask me how I butter the top of my loaves that I put sesame seeds on to soften the crust, and I don't. If there are sesame seeds on top, I don't pour butter or put butter on it to soften it. I will just put a towel on top, and I'll let the heated moisture from the bread go up into the towel, which actually causes the crust to soften really nicely. I have had this plant that has been with me for even longer than most of my children, and I always propagate the top, and it has created many baby plants through my house and also as gifts for some friends. I am letting it propagate in just a cup that I had, and I'm hanging it up because this plant actually really loves some heat from the being high up in the house. And I am also doing my prayer plant, which is beautiful, and I'm getting started on dinner. I really like making soup for dinner. There's a few reasons why. One of them is that I can put whatever I want in it and it'll be great. If I have some vegetables or meat or something I need to use up, it can go in the soup and I'll use it, and it's awesome. I also like that I can prepare it really early on in my day, and it's not going to overcook. I can leave it on a simmer and just let the aroma fill the house, or I can turn it off and heat it up when it's time for dinner. This is my sandwich loaf. It's sourdough, it's beautiful, it's ridiculously soft, and is one of my favorite bread recipes I've ever made. I also did do myself a favor. I think I've already mentioned this, but I bought a ton of sandwich bags off Amazon, because I was kind of relying on going to the store and being like, hey, can I have a sandwich bag from you guys? And I got to the point where I was tired of either asking them for them or having to pay the store anyways. And I realized I could just make this way more simple on myself and buy myself 100 bags off of Amazon. I can link them down below. They're awesome, and it's just very convenient to have if you make all your own bread from home. I am following a recipe from a very old cookbook, which is much more of a glaze for this carrot cake, but it's whipped cream, cream cheese, butter, and I made some icing sugar. If you saw my pantry video, you would have actually seen me making that. And this was delicious. I couldn't even, honestly, I can't even imagine how good it would taste if I baked it properly with really good frosting. No one is prepared, but it's coming. Probably, honestly, I feel like I have to make it now. Like, as soon as I'm done this voiceover, I am going into my kitchen and I will make this carrot cake because it is so very good. Another fact, my least favorite food is carrots. But wow, do we ever like a carrot cake? Another thing I just want to tackle. This is like a small project, but again, it's just something I can focus in on. The kids are busy with coloring. They're done their school, they're on to coloring, and I want to do this flex drawer. Some people have asked if this is a freezer. It's not. It's like a middle drawer compartment that's under the fridge and above the freezer, and it's great for eggs and butter and cheeses. It's very, very convenient. And I feel like, why did it take us so long to have drawers in our fridges on the outside? It's fantastic. And I know that I could, but I don't want to go back to a normal fridge. This is an acrylic kind of cylinder that I use when I use my hand blender for making mayonnaise or dips or sauces, and it is chipping so bad. It's actually ended up in some of our food, and I've had to scrape it out because I'm like, I do not want us to eat this. I'm going on Amazon, seeing if I can find something, and it is hard to get a replacement cup. I'm gonna keep my eye open at the thrift store, but that's something I need to keep in the back of my head because I cannot keep using this safely, you know? So I'm trying to find a replacement for that, and I'm also wanting to make some granola bar cups. I also featured this in my pantry video, but instead of putting this into bar form, granola bars, I'm going to make these into more of cups. And again, I don't think these lasted the day. Maybe they lasted the rest of the day and into the next day, but these are so good. Even my husband chows down on these. So if you want the recipe, again, I can link my pantry restock video down below. And while we're kind of on the subject of needing to buy new things because other things are worn out, there's a fine line that I walk on. So I'm a heavy declutterer. I also, because of my job, get sent a lot of things for the entire house, in the kitchen, in the bathroom, in the living room, and I will get things without even knowing that they're coming to my front door. So there's a lot of decluttering that I do, or some packages I won't even open, and I will just give it to someone else, and they'll go, oh man, yeah, that sounds really fun, and they'll really like it and enjoy it. But for me, I do have things in my house that I'm able to try out, and if I don't like it, I declutter it. And then there's things in my house that I use often, all the time, so much, and then I go, oh, this is falling apart. Now I need to buy a replacement. So I get to do something cool, which is really test out a lot of things and see if I like them. And if I do like them, I share it with you guys. So for my hand blender, that's something I use all the time. The cup I use multiple times a day, and I can now see that it's at the end of its rope. So it's time to either declutter that or repurpose it for something else. Even just a watering can outside would be great. So sometimes I am letting things go because I can't use them safely anymore, or I have to repurpose them in a way they will be safe. Or sometimes I'm decluttering things because I'm not using it at all. You know what I mean? Does any of this make sense? I hope so. For the granola bar cups, I just put it into a greased silicone muffin container. I press them down, I put chocolate chips on top, and then I put them in the fridge to set and cool. While that's happening, you can see it's still early. It's like not even 3:30, but I'm really gonna get started on this soup. I am making cashew cream. That is going to be the thickener and cream to my soup. I prefer it over the taste of actual cow cream. I find if I do big soups full of cream or milk, it will cause me to have a huge bellyache. And that's raw milk, that's homo milk, that's filtered milk, and I just prefer the taste of cashew cream. I think it tastes so good. So I'm gonna add that to my bone broth, as well as a ton of frozen veggies that I have. These I've actually had for Edmund's baby food when I made him a ton of baby food, but he's a big kid now and he's not interested in baby foods and mushes. So I've been using those kind of things in my soups. I'm adding in smoked ham, all chopped up, into my soup, and a little bit of seasoning, pepper, sea salt. I like parsley. I added one of those ginger cubes in here as well, and I'm just gonna let this simmer, and then we'll be ready for dinner when needed. Thank you very much for being with me today. I hope that you enjoyed a typical Sarah Therese day. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my pantry restock, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!